I'm here with Ken Brook, who is the Director of Caddy Services here at the Bandon Dunes Golf Resort. Hi, Ken.
How are you?
I'm doing great. We just got off a magnificent Bandon Dunes golf course, so how could I be doing anything else?
Exactly. Great day today.
Director of Caddy Services conjures up all kinds of things, especially for people who travel and play golf. We'll just start off the opportunity for you to be responsible for a part of the game that is 500 years old at least, and an integral part of the game over in the UK and Scotland and Ireland, and that chance to have that kind of a program here at a special place like Bandon Dunes. How did you get involved in it in the first place?
Well, I've loved golf and played golf most of my life, and was kind of in a state of semi-retirement and not sure what I wanted to do. My son and I came to Bandon Dunes to play golf, and I was living in Kiawah Island, South Carolina at the time. My son was a golf pro down in Southern California, and we came up here, and I happened to meet Hank Hickox. And Hank's history includes a stint as the general manager of Kiawah Island back in the early 80s, and I didn't know him from there, but we knew a lot of the same people. We talked, and what are you doing? I don't know. He said, you should come out here. So in August of that year, he sent me an email and said, why don't you come out here? I got some ideas, spend a few months, see what happens. And so that was in August of 2002. I'm still here. And it's, the caddy program, Mike Kaiser, in my mind, he, along with the guys at Caddy Masters International, who've also spread the word, really re-energized the idea of caddy programs. And he treated this caddy program at Bandon Dunes as an asset. He believes in value added. We don't earn any income directly, but we feel like we are a significant part of the success of this resort, which is extraordinary in terms of the growth from when it was first course was built, Bandon Dunes course. A lot of people thought it's going to be a tough run. Got to walk, you got to get there, and so forth. And obviously, Mike's vision was very good, and it has proven to be.
You mentioned something that I think is really important in terms of not just the caddy program, but the whole resort, which is the value to somebody who is coming here to play golf, and pretty much golf is what this whole experience is about. The idea that the guest has the opportunity to do something where the enjoyment of playing here is absolutely increased. It's not even close. I mean, you can enjoy these great courses,
sure,
clearly, but the ability to have a caddy who's there to really help you get through, because this is a very different experience than a lot of people are used to.
Right.
Talk about what the caddies, what they can actually, I mean, most people know what caddies are, but here it's really special because it's such a different brand of golf.
Right. Our mission is that our caddies will enhance our guest experience. And we have a unique set of conditions at Bandon Dunes. Number one, it's links golf, which the typical American is very unfamiliar with. The turf is different, the firmness of the golf course. Then we have weather conditions. We're on the coast in northwest United States. We have a unique influence of wind and changing, varying temperatures through a day. And the playability in the conditions on links golf, on the golf courses, is so different than anything people have ever experienced. I grew up on the southeast coast, and we thought we had wind. And we Florida. Oh, I played in Florida. I played in wind. It's not. There is no comparison anywhere that I've been. And I haven't played in West Texas in the middle of the wind out there. But anywhere else I've been, it's just a whole different. It's a whole different creature. And our caddies are. We're very fortunate. We've built a program over the years that has been geared towards people that want to be a caddy. They see it as they love golf. This is outside of being on the PGA Tour. There's probably no better caddy job for an outstanding caddy than Bandon Dunes, and so they love the game, they love the experience, they love Bandon, and they love the idea that they make such a difference. Because our caddy's favorite thing to tell their guests is, you probably aren't going to want to carry that lob wedge with you around all day, but it's one of those things that don't. But
the truth.
Every guest has to learn that for themselves.
Yep.
And our caddies are good about letting them learn it, and then they suggest alternatives, and which involve putters or 7-irons or whatever. So they really understand the play of these golf courses. And again, like as you said, Bandon is not like your golf course at home, and it's unique in every way. Very similar to the Scotland-Irish experience, and but in some cases it's even more lengthy because we make such an effort to maintain the speed and the firmness throughout the year. And not that it's different, but our maintenance standards, our capabilities are a little bit different here, and we don't try to grow thick, plush fairways. We want to have hard and fast as our rule every day, and we're pretty successful at that.
You definitely are, according to what I saw out there. You mentioned that early on. I mean, when Mike Kaiser started Bandon Dunes, the caddy pool that he had to draw from was probably fairly thin in terms of people who actually knew a lot about not just carrying a bag, but literally about the game and being a caddy. Now you're in a different position more than a decade later. You got here in 2002. Explain to us how that has grown and how do you choose the caddies that come to you now?
Yes, the evolution of the program has been really unique, and when I first got here, I was stunned by the number of people that I encountered that had never been on a golf course, much less potential caddies. Mm-hmm. And we did a caddy class in conjunction with the local community college as part of their job development program, and we had lumbermen, fishermen, physical ladies and guys that thought, boy, there's an opportunity for a job. And in the early days, that was our market. When I first got here in 2002, my primary and early emphasis was to create the Bandon caddy opportunity as the best caddy opportunity in order to start attracting the quote-unquote professional caddy, which really is the college kid who loves golf who's not ready to go to work yet. I mean, not that all of them are, but in the reality, the pool, mm-hmm. the most significant pool, are those young men that are between the ages of 21 to 30, love golf, love life, they're single, and they're not ready to, put on a coat and tie yet. And so they are the ones who came to Bandon. So what we started a true recruiting effort. I would go to Florida, I would go to Phoenix and Scottsdale area, I'd go to Palm Desert area, and get the word out. You come to Bandon, you're really going to like it. It's going to be different, and you're going to make more money than you do anywhere else, which is bottom line. Mm-hmm. They're all entrepreneurs. So we have done that. We have evolved our caddy capability to the point that in our high season, which is starting in May and runs through October, we will carry probably in excess of 75% of the bags. Mike Kaiser believes very strongly that no one should be required to take a caddy, and we have never done that. But we now carry in the neighborhood of 78% of the bags in high season. We have developed, because of demand-supply equations, we have developed a great number of really good caddies who are good at carrying two bags. Because we believe that we have caddies who are capable of making the experience equal. And we found many of our guests over the years, especially long-term guests, have learned to love the idea that instead of they're walking down the fairway with their four friends, and their two caddies are doing the job, and they're interacting with them, and they love them. But the point is, they're doing their job. The four guys are enjoying their time together, mm-hmm. and it really works almost better when the caddy knows what he's doing and he does a good job. And ours, so we worked really hard at developing that capability as well, which also leads to more earning opportunity. Mm-hmm. And the combination of that, and then of course everybody has to see, if you're a golfer, and I say to you and you're 22 years old, you can come to Bandon Dunes, you can play 4 of the top 100 golf courses in the world every day of the week if you want. We have no restrictions on play other than all of our guests are taken care of. Once all of our guests are taken care of, if it's open space, they can play golf. And we've built a caddy facility that Mike Kaiser does not allow us to call it the Caddy Shack anymore because he said it costs too much money to be a shack. Right. But it's an incredible place. We have our own putting green. We have a full-service kitchen. We have 2 60-inch TVs. We have a computer internet bar. and this is for our caddies. So we made it the place to be, and as a result, we have attracted the best caddies that there are.
Well, it sounds to me like a place like Bandon Dunes, which obviously people have heard of. If you're into golf, you've heard of it. You probably dream about coming here, but this is such an integral part of the experience that you must feel good being here for as long as you've been here, to see how it's developed and to be in a place where you know what an integral part of the experience it is.
Absolutely. It's my background is financial. I was a banker, a venture capitalist in DC for many years, and the case study of Bandon Dunes is one that probably should be taught for years to come, because it was about a guy who had an idea that anybody, I don't care what anybody says, anybody who was in the golf industry in the early 90s that he talked to about this told him that'll never make money.
You're nuts. Right.
You may enjoy it, it'll be fun, it'll be a neat little project, but don't think about it for making money. And it is without question the most successful golf resort in terms of, I mean, our ROI's got to be crazy. I don't know what it is, but we do very well. But it's really about a vision and a reality of what we are, and staying with that. And we've done that. And every time we built a new course, it was should somebody would ask the question, well, should we have carts on this course? You notice there are no cart paths around here.
No, of course.
And because again, conventional wisdom that was an income stream, and he stuck to his guns. And I'm constantly amazed at the number of people that come here that are here for their 10th, 12th, 15th time, and and as you experienced today, it's not the most comfortable. It's not a relaxing round. It's great golf. You relax at night, but it's a physical experience. And we had a gentleman last week who called, and he had 2 knees replaced, and his friends kept calling and saying, "Can we get a cart? Can we get a cart?" And he called me and said, "I will not take a cart. I'm not coming to Bandon Dunes to ride." But that's what we're about.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
And that's kind of what Mike Kaiser knew was there, and he's created it, and it's incredible, in my opinion.
I know this is a very special place, but do you find it interesting that given the success of the caddy program here, when people leave, that there aren't more caddy programs at public facilities as a way of getting people back to what I believe is the real essence of the game, which is not just the game, but the camaraderie you mentioned about being with your friends, being outside, walking, getting exercise. Most of the places, certainly in the United States, not necessarily in Europe, but carts are it. They don't even give you a chance to walk. Are you surprised that more caddy programs don't exist?
I am, and I think that, what we have fun with our caddies that work in the winter at places. We call them the jump and shoot boys that ride on the back of the carts and shoot the number and dump the sand in the divot. And unfortunately, in a lot of people's mind, that's what a caddy does. And I think it's great to create caddy opportunities, whatever they may be. But what's happened in a lot of these places, it takes somebody like Mike Kaiser saying, "Look, you're gonna walk if you come to Bandon, period." And an owner, a business operator, a course manager to say, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to count that $100,000 a year in cart revenue, because we know that if we stick to our guns and do this, we'll make that up in terms of people that come to play. And so it's a tough decision. I'm disappointed that it's not a bigger. I see private clubs. We're big participants in the Evans Scholarship Program, which is a part of the Western Golf Association, and it's disappointing to me that more private clubs, for instance, don't have some kind of a caddy program, even if it's for kids and the scholarship purposes, because the young kids that start with us when they're 14 and get that scholarship, to see their growth, because the opportunity they have out here, the people they meet out here, I mean, it's just such a cool thing to watch. Sure. And so I am disappointed. It's like I said, the walking part of it, I think people are just, everybody's talking about golf, takes too much time. But the reality is, most public facilities, even where they're riding in cars, they're playing in 4.5 hours. So, and you can walk anywhere. A long time ago, I used to play Secession quite a bit. It was like the most perfect walking golf course made in America, I think. And we walked many a day, 4 guys in 2 hours and 45 minutes, and never felt rushed. So, you can walk just as quick, but it takes a strong person to go in the face of the quote unquote conventional wisdom, even though, well, they say, well, Bandon's different. Bandon's, you can always come up with a reason not to do it, and I think it's easier, not to do it. We have Mr. Kaiser has a substantial investment in the caddy program at Bandon Dunes, and I'm confident that he feels very comfortable that he gets a substantial return as a result. But he was willing to do that when everybody told him that was probably not going to be a great idea.
Well, certainly from our standpoint as golfers, we're glad that he made that decision, and it's an unbelievably unique place. And congratulations to you on creating a program that adds to that unique quality in such a really big way.
Well, thanks. It's really a very unique challenge and a very enjoyable daily existence, I must say. So, thank you. All right.
Yeah, I'd just like to know if you hire a 50-year-old broken down golf writer.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, they have to get in shape first. But
I can do that.
you'd be surprised at the emails I get from career changes or.
Sure.
Yeah, I've got a guy from Charlotte, North Carolina, and he owns banks in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he keeps saying, "Okay, I'm coming out. I want to be a caddy for 1 year." He said, I won't feel like I've completed everything I want to do until I've caddied for 1 year. And we have, like I said, everybody, a lot of golfers, especially in the Northwest, are becoming aware of us, and they, if they have a career change or when the economy went down, which of course we weren't hiring then, but we have a unique cast of characters that are out there caddying from a variety of potential spots.
Yeah, that's the times I've been here. This is my 6th or 7th time here. I don't know, but most times, every time we've at least one round we've gotten a caddy, and usually it's a younger person. But we've had some caddies with some great personal stories.
Oh yeah.
That I would love to do a book on someday. And just a book on about the caddies. All their stories and how they ended up here and why they're here.
Exactly. It's all, we have a young man that just came back this year, and he tells the story of 5-6 years ago. He and a friend they were in California, they came up here to go ride the dunes. They blew all their money. And they were golfers, so they stopped here. And this is back when you said, I'm a golfer and you can walk. We pretty much would hire you as a caddy back in the early days. And so he caddied here for a summer and a half, about a year and a half. Then he realized he had to get on with his life, and he joined the Navy. So did his thing in the Navy, got out of the Navy, went to the San Diego Golf Academy, graduated from there, called me and said, hey, I want to caddy. And he just came back this year. I mean, it's just kind of, so we have quite a variety of stories, and they're all interesting for sure. A lot, and some amazing stories.
It's just something different about walking off that first tee by yourself with a caddy next to you instead of lugging your own stuff. It just gives you a different perspective on how the game is played and who's involved with it, and it creates a different atmosphere among your group, like you were saying earlier. You're still enjoying the day with your buddies, but then you have this separate factor in there, and the good caddies, they figure out pretty quickly, like within one shot or two, not only how you hit the ball or how your propensity for hitting a shot, but also where their place is within that particular group. Whether it's a just keep up and shut up type of group, or whether they really want them to interact.
I constantly get asked what makes a good caddy, and that is my absolute answer. The best caddy is the one who is able to read and determine what each guest wants, and there is the whole gamut. We have the guys that just want somebody to carry their bag, and we have the guys that are looking for their new best friend, and everything in between. And my my favorite story in that regard is we had a group from Shinnecock the year they hosted the Open, that the last Open they had, and they came out before the Open, and they were a bunch of the members of the committee and so forth, and there was this one guy, and I won't use his name, but he was like the head guy, and we put one of our caddies, who is a well-known character, and we were double bagging, and he was caring for these two gentlemen, one of whom we'll call Mr. Smith, and they're walking down the first hole, and it's Mr. Smith and Mr. Jones, and he says, and he knew their first name, so he said, Jim, let's say Jones was Jim. Jim, here's how far you got, blah, blah, blah. Gave him the club. He goes to Mr. Smith, and he gets ready to give him, he says, John, you have 148 yards to the pin, green, middle of the green, pin's in the middle, and he stepped back, and Smith looks at him and says, I'd really prefer you call me Mr. Smith. He says, yes, sir, Mr. Smith. So he backs up, so Smith hits a shot, they get up on the green, and Smith says, by the way, and this caddy has a nickname, his name's Vegas. His nickname's Vegas. So he says, do you prefer to be called Brad or Vegas? He said, I like Mr. Vegas. Well, by the end of the day, everybody loved it.
Fast friends.
But
yeah.
again, that's, every caddy has to know how, and some caddies can get away with that. Vegas is one of the ones, but, it's just that's probably my favorite caddy story, because it kind of tells the real story of what the job is knowing the guests and knowing how to determine what they need. So
it's a complicated thing. It's like being a bartender in a certain sense, where you're a
Exactly.
psychologist.
You
You not only have the physical qualities of reading a green and saying you hit a 160-yard 6-iron quickly.
right.
How do you hire them? And I mean, you're looking for those kinds of people. Obviously, you have the luxury now
Exactly.
of choosing the caddies you want, as opposed to the time when you hire anybody who walks
Right.
in the door. What are you looking for then? I mean, I can't even begin to think how I would go through the process of figuring out how to hire a caddy.
Well, one of the things that was very helpful, and it's still very helpful, I still travel in the winter and try to see people and meet people. Like this year, we don't take applications per se. Our caddies aren't employees or all that kind of, but we have probably over about 170 inquiries this year that wanted to come work, and we're going to take like 35. And I put a lot of emphasis on people that I've met that know the caddy. If they know,
Right.
I will talk to the golf pros where they work. I also talk to who they actually report to. If they haven't caddied, it's their story. Sometimes it's very unique, and I just think I just want to meet this guy because why is he doing this, or whatever. It's so you talk to them, and the last thing I tell everyone that I invite to come out is that this is a long way from wherever you're coming from, and we do not talk. We have a great program, and we're very easy to deal with. We have very few rules, but we have zero tolerance, and because there's 25 for every one of you that we take that wants to be here. So we try to almost, and we've had a couple that after I've had that talk don't come. Whereas back in the day, every guy that got bounced off a bag on the tour or got fired from his club somewhere else would, and really we knew we were taking chances on a lot of people in those days, but we had to get people who knew the game to caddy, and nothing against the guys that were out here trying that didn't know the game, and some of them are still here and doing an excellent job. But I felt it was the more golf experience we could get into the caddy yard, that was where we had to end up. And so we took a lot of chances, and like I said, some of them are still here. A lot of them aren't. We've had quite a turnover, but
How many do you employ?
It's hard. We will probably work this year between 280 and 300 caddies. At our highest point in time in 2007, which is about the highest for everything, I guess. That year we worked about 370, and that was too many. And it was one of those. It was kind of the wave of trying every year to add and get people, and anybody would call and say, "Oh, I'm a caddy, so I want to come on." And all of a sudden, we've lost sight of how big that wave got, and we got a lot of people here. But what it also enabled us to do was to really do some cutting with it needed to be done. And we always want to be one caddy short is our perfect management, because that way everybody's getting plenty of work. They'll all say they don't get enough work, and they'll all say they could work more, but the reality is if we can always be one caddy short, then we'll be just right. And so we try to measure that number. We logistically now with 4 courses, it's a little different. Any one course, people think, well, there's only 160 golfers. Yeah, but that's a 650 round day for us at the resort. Yep. And so, and then in August, that's we're carrying 500 bags, 550 maybe 600 bags that day. That's a lot of That's a lot of bags being carted around a golf course. So sure. So we're always on the lookout. We're always talking to everybody and anybody that wants to come. I don't, but we are very fortunate that we're able to be selective now, and it's one of those things. Over the time, you start getting your batting average increases the more you do it, and we're not perfect for sure, and some people make that drive unfortunately both ways in the same year, but we're getting better, and you can get a feel for somebody's personality when you exchange an email and talk to them on the phone. You can give an idea.
I was interested in you talking about how caddies can play. As long as there's an open spot on the golf course, they can play. I just played at Pelican Hill a couple of weeks ago and had a caddy both days. I had the same caddy. I liked him on the first day. I kept him on the second day. And what I was struck by that he told me in the process of us talking over those 2 days is it's the rare occasion that their caddies get to play the golf courses. And it just seemed like such an odd thing to me that you would need these guys to spend as much time on the golf course as you can possibly fit them in, so to enhance the customer experience.
Absolutely, and that's again one of the geniuses of Mike Kaiser, because that's very abnormal what we have. Private clubs, maybe they'll have a Monday, or in these other resorts like Pebble Beach, you don't see a lot of their caddies out there playing in the afternoon. Number one, I think I always looked at it, tee time as a perishable item. And, the 10-10 tee time has zero value at 10-11. And we have people whose job is to help people on the golf course. And so their experience, they have empathy for everything that's happening out there because they've experienced it. And so that is a big deal. And you're right, it's unusual. And it's a thought process. Most people try to restrict who can play their golf course, and whereas Mike Kaiser wants everybody to play his golf course, and he said his favorite thing is to sit down in the puffin with lunch and see 4 or 5 groups of caddies going off the first tee, and when he says that he means that, and so that's why we're so unique. That's a unique aspect. You're right, unfortunately, because I think the more your caddies know play your golf course, the better they become at caddying on it.
Oh, I agree, especially on these greens.
Yes.
And to know the experience. We were talking today about how the wind beat us up, and we pulled our own carts.
Sure.
And really made a decision that we were definitely going to take caddies at Old McDonald. The following day at Pacific Dunes, I kind of made up my mind. I'm going to take a caddy now for that round as well, because it's a different thing, and to have people actually go out there and play the golf course and experience those conditions, not just carrying the bag, but as a player, I think is valuable.
Absolutely, because and these we talk about 4 club wins, 5 club wins, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and there's a serious difference between the impact into the wind and downwind in this kind of wind, and it's watching it doesn't really tell you. You need to hit those shots to have an idea, and you don't have to be a good golfer. You just have to be a golfer and have done it, and so I agree. It makes a big difference.
I don't feel the same.